Okay, we're live.
Ja, ja misschien ben je
Stop.
Shut.
It's for.
I'm going to look good for a minute. We all want to look good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we, in the last session, what we've been working on is we started here, linguistic abstractions, the possibility, any way of being and any possible action is available to being a leader, and any action to effective exercising leadership. So then from everything, we started to put boundaries on it, and we are now up here in the foundational factors. We covered integrity and authenticity, and now we'll do being responsible and committed to something bigger than oneself. Ready?
Yeah.
Your eyes are going to be hurt. Yeah. All right. So, here we are. The foundation for leader and leadership. The foundation for leader and leadership, with its 4 factors listed below, is the first of the 3 structural elements. So when we say 3 structural elements, that's 1, 2, 3 in Roman numerals. All right, so we are now at 3, being committed to something bigger than oneself. And is that like something that?
What?
There you go. So here's our little cube representing the contextual framework. With, at the base of the cube, integrity, authenticity, something bigger than oneself, and causing the matter. So we're now being committed to something bigger than oneself. The source of serene passion required to lead and to develop others as leaders, and the source of persistence when the path gets tough. All true leaders are heroes. Heroes are ordinary people who are given being and action by something bigger than themselves. Does whatever your life is about, and whatever your career or schooling is about, and whatever your relationships are about, need you to be bigger than the way you wound up being? What is your life about? And what is your career or schooling about? And what are your relationships about really? Remember, all true leaders are heroes. And heroes are ordinary people who are given being and action by something bigger than the way they wound up being. Are great leaders extraordinary people? We learn about great leaders after they have gotten there. And after they've gotten there, they appear to be extraordinary people. However, when the whole story is told, every great leader was an ordinary person who was given being and action by something bigger than themselves. To assume that great leaders started out extraordinary is to demean what it took for them to go beyond who they wound up being. More importantly, it conceals your access to being an extraordinary leader. If you think you need to be extraordinary to be a leader, that gives you no access to being a leader. The leaders you admire and respect are ordinary people. What makes them worthy of admiration and respect is that their being and action is given by something bigger than themselves. And that is what makes them extraordinary. The question is, how do you create your life being about something bigger than yourself? Being a leader requires that you take a stand for something bigger than yourself. If you aspire to be a great leader, your life and your career or schooling and your relationships will have to be about something bigger than you. something bigger than your concerns for yourself, even bigger than your hopes, dreams, and grand ideas of the person you wound up being. And that surely includes something bigger than your dreams about your personal fame, position, authority, or money. If that is what is giving you being and action, you can forget about being a leader. Are you a stand for something beyond yourself? Something you're willing to give your life to? Without that, for you, there will be no chance of greatness. Each person must choose for themselves. Each of us must make the choice to be a hero or not, to be a leader or not. That is, each of us must make the choice for ourselves about going beyond the way we wound up being, about having the purpose of our lives in our careers or schooling and our relationships be about something bigger than ourselves. No, the people you are leading may well be committed to nothing more than their personal concerns. And you can't be effective in leading them if you make that way of being wrong. When leading, you must start with the commitments of the people you are leading as they are, not the way you think they should be. Starting there, you can lead them to something greater. Each of us gets to, has the right to, choose what our lives and our careers or schooling and our relationships are going to be about. And while each choice has different consequences, no one choice is inherently more righteous than the other. The valley of the shadow of death. Do you have that in certain, have you heard that before? The valley of the shadow of death? No? 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 It's in the New Testament, I think, somewhere where, I don't know, Jesus or somebody walked through the valley of the shadow of death. It's a religious passage. Is that ringing a bell now? Anyway, I think Jesus had to walk through the valley of the shadow of death. You have to look it up. I don't know all that much about that parable. But anyway. By the way, on their way to greatness, every great leader faces times of being so massively thwarted that they are left with a sense of hopelessness, a profound sense that they are inadequate for the task at hand. At these times, the world occurs as immovable, impossible, and they are left with nothing to give, nothing to draw on, no help, no way.
It's like a sun, very dark before the sunrise. Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, what does mean thwart?
Thwarted,
Thwart.
blocked, hindered. You're going this way and you're thwarted. Hindered. Diverted. Get the idea, though? Thwarted.
Not exactly.
Unfulfilled. How about that? An unfulfilled. Yeah. They're thwarted. They want to go here, and they can't go there. They're blocked. Deflected. You too will have these times on your way to greatness. In these valley of the shadow of death times, when giving up or quitting seems to be the only viable option. In order to generate the being and action required to get yourself through these tough times, you will need to have in place something bigger than yourself and your circumstances. Don't wait until you find yourself in the valley of the shadow of death to get the purpose of your life and your career or schooling and your relationships to be about something bigger than yourself. That will be too late. Access to being a hero, to being a leader. Remember, all true leaders are heroes, and heroes are ordinary people who've given being who are given being and action by something bigger than themselves. The first step to being a hero, and therefore your access to being a leader, is to answer these two questions. Are you satisfied with the effectiveness and power of your current level of being and action? Or, to ask the question in another way, are you committed to being bigger than the way you wound up being? What is your life about? And what is your career or schooling or relationships currently about? That is, what is your purpose in life, and what is the purpose of your career or schooling or relationships? Access to being a leader begins with leading yourself. In order to create your life and your career or schooling and your relationships to be about something bigger than yourself, you will need to begin the process by being ruthlessly honest with yourself regarding what your life and your career or schooling and your relationships are currently about. Really about. And you will need to be ruthlessly honest about your willingness to do the work to be bigger than the way you wound up being. Leadership begins with leading yourself. You can't get there from here. You can't get to there from any place other than here. If you want to get to Acapulco, you don't know where you are. That is, you don't know where you're starting from. You'll never get there. Similarly, you can't plop something bigger than the way you wound up being on top of you wound up being, on top of the way you wound up being. In order to give yourself the possibility of being bigger than the way you wound up being, you need to confront the way you wound up being and get complete with it. That is, not make the way you wound up being wrong, like there's something wrong with you. Or even worse, not make the way you wound up being right, as if all that was involved for you was fine-tuning the way you wound up being. The point is, get yourself clear about the way you wound up being and do it without any evaluations or judgments about it. And don't kid yourself that this is going to be easy. You must also be clear about your life, your career or schooling, and your relationships. You will also need to do the same with what your life is about, and what your career or schooling is about, and what your relationships are about. That is the purpose of your life, and the purpose of your career or schooling, and the purpose of your relationships.
Sasha,
You okay?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm okay. It just off floor and I'm a little.
Welcome back. Just to be honest with yourself about what your life and your career or schooling and your relationships are about, and do it without any evaluations or judgments about it. That is, without making it wrong or right in any way. Today, we will give you the opportunity to start the process of getting yourself clear about what your life and your career or schooling and your relationships are about, and the opportunity to get clear about the way you wound up being. Your access is through what you stand for. Your access to being a leader is through creating your life and your career or schooling and your relationships to be about something that for you calls forth being and action from you that would be unrecognizable to you as the person you wound up being. During the course, you will be provided with opportunities to create for yourself your standing for something bigger than your concerns for yourself, even bigger than the dreams and the grand ideas of the person you wound up being. And surely something bigger than your dreams about fame, position, authority, or money. That is, something that calls forth from you the being and action of a leader. So that's it on being committed to something bigger. Anybody have anything you want to say about that part? What you're left with out of that conversation?
A lot of things to think about after.
You have to think about it. Kind of let it sink in, huh? Yeah, okay. Anybody, anything else? How about what if, yeah, but, concern, comments? No? Okay. So, the fourth, the foundation for leader and leadership with its 4 factors listed below. This is the fourth one, being cause in the matter. Being cause in the matter. By being cause in the matter, we mean being cause in the matter of everything in your life, as a stand you take for yourself and life, and acting from that stand. Being cause in the matter. You might wonder, my being cause in the matter of what? The answer is anything with which you want power, anything at all. Obviously, if any given matter you actually, in reality, have the power to cause what happens, that's power. Conversely, if in any given matter you are in reality, in any way, at the effect of, to that degree you lack power. We're not saying that because you lack power that the situation is bad or that you're bad. We're just saying that to the degree you are in effect, you lack power. Unfortunately, it is those situations in which you, in fact, don't have power that you most need it. In fact, that's how you know you're at the effect, is there's no power. Power's missing. You know you're at the effect of something. Okay. So, for example, if as a leader you are at effect, you are unlikely to be successful in your exercise of leadership. As we use the term cause in the matter, we do not use it as an assertion, a description of what's so based on evidence, about some condition, some set of facts. That is to say, we do not use the term cause in the matter to mean that there is evidence that you caused that condition or that you did it. That is, that in reality you made it happen. Using cause in the matter as an assertion, when in fact it is invalid as an assertion, is an attempt at positive thinking. You get that? Using cause in the matter as an assertion, when in fact it is invalid as an assertion, it's an attempt at positive thinking. Rather, we use the term cause in the matter as a declaration, that for which one is willing to stand regarding some condition, a place from which to view and deal with the set of facts that constitute some condition. That is to say, rather than being evidence-based, as in the case with an assertion, cause in the matter, as a declaration, is commitment-based, an empowering perspective from which to view some condition. While the assertion that someone did something, made something happen, often leads to, or at least implies fault, blame, shame, guilt, burden, obligation, credit, or praise. Note that without power, leadership often devolves into force instead of leadership. So in being a leader and exercising leadership, you will want power. The more, the better. Be clear that what is meant by the term of art, cause in the matter, is not anything like, is not any one of the following: fault, blame, shame, guilt, burden, obligation, credit, or praise. For many people, having caused something, you did it, cannot be seen as anything other than fault and the like, or credit and the like. In this course, what we are distinguishing in our use of the term cause in the matter has no relation to assigning blame or credit.
I don't understand what is causing the matter.
That's why we're having this conversation. So let's finish it and see if you can get it at the end. So all I would say is repeat what was said. But we're going to rototill it until you get it. Okay? In exercising leadership, who is at fault or to blame, or who gets the credit, or even who actually did it, conveys no power to anyone. In fact, it is more likely to be disempowering, assigning blame or credit. In exercising leadership, who is at fault or to blame, or who gets the credit, or even who actually did it, conveys no power to anyone. When something goes badly, determining whose fault it is, that is, who's wrong, or if it turned out well, determining who made it happen and should get the credit, is an assertion, an attempt to describe what is so based on evidence. As we use cause in the matter, it is a declaration rather than an assertion. The already always fault, blame, guilt, credit kind of cause in the matter is an evidence-based assertion as contrasted with a commitment-based declaration, stand one takes. Being cause in the matter starts with the willingness to experience yourself as cause in the matter. Responsibility is not burden, fault, praise, blame, credit, shame, or guilt. All these include judgments and evaluations of good and bad, right and wrong, better and worse. They are not responsibility. They are derived from a ground of being in which self is considered to be a thing, or an object, rather than a context. Responsibility starts with the willingness to deal with the situation from and with the point of view, whether in the moment realized or not, that you are the source of what you are, what you do, and what you have. This point of view extends to include even what is done to you and ultimately what another does to another. Ultimately, responsibility is a context of self as source for the content, i.e., for what is. With cause in the matter is a stand you have taken in the matter, a place from which to view the facts of the condition you're confronted with. You will see opportunities to be effective that you simply cannot see with any other context. Declaration creates a realm of possibility in which to engage life, others, and yourself with power. Be clear that what is meant by the term of art, cause in the matter, is not anything like any of the following: fault, blame, shame, guilt, burden, obligation, credit, or praise. For many people, having caused something, you did it, cannot be seen as anything other than fault and the like, or credit and the like. Cause in the matter is a context I give myself, It is not about the content. Victims have no power. If you're a cause in a matter, you cannot be a victim. There is nothing that you cannot be cause in the matter of. Remember, being cause in the matter is not a conclusion that you have come to based on your observation. It's a stand you take so that the facts of the condition you are dealing with occur for you in a new world. Whatever you're doing is distracting me, so will you stop it?
Okay.
Thank
Sorry.
you. So let me give you that again. There is nothing that you cannot be cause in the matter of. Remember, being cause in the matter is not a conclusion that you have come to based on your observation. It's a stand you take so that the facts of the condition you are dealing with occur for you in a new world. We mean new world in the Kun sense of new world. Whatever you make wrong, cause in the matter gives you power to deal with. You get what you tolerate, but also you get what you resist. Got to be willing to do what is required to get what needs to get done, done. Distinction between cause in the matter and accountable. Alright, so that's the end of that. So the last sentence is there is a distinction between cause in the matter and accountable. Now they haven't said what accountable is, but what accountable is you're called to account for something. Like Dimitro would call me to account for having this class on time every day I said I would have a class. And he would call me to account for an orderly presentation of the class. I'm accountable for that. I'm accountable for having to pay my bills. Anything that you can account for, you're accountable for. That's distinct from cause in the matter. So, what about that? 3:29. So we have an hour left, is that right?
Yeah.
You have 50 minutes. 50 minutes.
Huh?
50 minutes.
50. Oh, right. There's 10 minutes. So I'm going to set this thing to 50 minutes. So be thinking about what you want to say about this while I'm doing this. Because I am going to ask you. So what about that? Yeah.
I still don't understand what does mean cause in the matter.
Cause in a matter.
Yeah.
That's a tough one, isn't it? It's a declaration. It's a stand. It's a term of art that we create. Huh?
I understand it.
Do you get it?
No, it's that it's a term of art.
You got that
But
part. You got it, but it's a term of art.
Yeah.
Being cause in the matter. Okay. 38 people signed up for this course, and maybe there's a core people of 12 or so. Right? Now, I could be a victim of that, thinking that it should have been more. Yes? There's the circumstances, right? And my evaluations and my expectations and what I wanted and what I hoped and what I dreamed for. There is all of that. And it gives me no power. However, if I can be cause in the matter, if I can stand for being cause in the matter, I have some power. I can make some requests of the English department next semester. Yes? I can make some requests of you for what this is going to be like going forward. I could ask you to write some notes or letters to the school. I'm cause in the matter of the leadership course being in Ukraine. That's a powerful place to stand. Being a victim, and poor me, and this isn't working out like I thought, so maybe I should go home. Yeah? That's the victim part, and there's no power there. But being cause in the matter, it's not true that I caused you being here. I mean, you could link up a cause and effect scenario. You could invent one, right, about how I caused you to be here. But in fact, there's really no cause and effect relationship, and even if I could establish one, there would be no power in it. But there would be power in standing for I'm cause in the matter of the circumstances, whatever they are. And from there, I can impact them. It's a stand, a place to live life from. It's not the truth about anything. It's not the reality about anything.
It's like finding losses in every situation.
Not exactly. It's not, we covered a little bit, that would be a Pollyanna. That would be always looking on the bright side. Now, there's nothing wrong with considering the bright side or the possibility that it would make available. There's nothing wrong with that. And I should, and I will consider the possibility of what this makes available. But from the stand called I'm cause in the matter.
So it's like that nothing causes us to do something, it's only our decision.
Yeah, but maybe your decisions don't even cause anything. Maybe it keeps you from coming to class and you cause yourself not to be in class. Yeah, you could link that. But we already discovered that you don't decide. You decide after. The actions are, you already took the action. So your decisions don't determine anything anyway, right? There's just what you do or don't do.
So then what caused us to do this?
Your brain. Remember?
Yeah.
Your brain.
Oh,
Were
yeah.
you in
So
that
back
class?
to
Were
the-
you in that class?
Yeah, I remember. I remember exactly the part that you don't decide. Yeah, I remember this. But there are still many things that it's hard to.
I know, this whole thing is hard to. This whole thing, this whole leadership thing is a whole different way of thinking. It breaks our habitual, tranquilized obviousness.
It's like making complicated things easy.
Well, yeah, we human beings do make things complicated. And then we suffer. And one of the things that we suffer over is this cause and effect kind of thinking. You caused it, somebody's to blame, somebody gets credit, and all, there's this swirl, right? And the stand, the what you're up to gets lost in the swirl. And you become ineffective. You just get lost in the swirl. Now, you can true yourself up back to what you're committed to anytime you want. And just, take the stand, I'm causing the matter of whatever the circumstances are. I didn't cause it, but I'm causing the matter of it. I have something to say about it. I mean, try on the court. Hold on, you got an in-person view. So, try it out on the court. That's where we run our experiments, right? On the court. Find some area in your life that you've kind of been victimized by. Or you're at the effect of. Remember that at the effect, I was reading about at the effect. Some place in your life that you're at the effect. Which is kind of like a big, at the effect. That's another term of art. Where you're at the effective is some place where you have a loss of power. I could be at the effect of that only 4 people showed up yesterday. This would be a prime example. Only 4 people. I could go at the effect of that. And I will lose power. Or I could say, you know what? I don't know exactly how, but my stand is I'm causing the matter. I'm causing the matter. I have a say in the matter. And it's just an existential creation that you make. Declaration, existential. Okay, we'll keep going with this until you get it.
So, being caused in the matter means do not give up and do what you want, even if it isn't like you expected.
You were expecting.
Even if it isn't like you expected, yes. So when you have an expectation that's unfulfilled, you're thwarted, you are now at the effect, which is what you said. I'm just saying using the rigorous terms. So when you have something that you want to have happen, you have an unfulfilled expectation, a thwarted intention, and even an undelivered communication. That's what an upset is. You will find an upset. That's the anatomy of an upset. You'll find those three things, or parts of those three things, in every upset. There's somewhere you wanted to go that you didn't get to go. You didn't say something that you should have said or wanted to say. You will have a loss of power, and you will go at the effect. Because you didn't get what you wanted. Even if it's simple as, you wanted to buy a car, or you wanted to get a degree, or when anything you want that you're thwarted, there is a danger, or you will find yourself going at the effect of. Just how fast you can, here's another term of art, get off it about that position. So being on it is on a position. You have some position. I should have what I want. That's an infantile will to power, and we all have it. Infants think they should have what they want. Human beings don't take pleasure in just wanting. We think we need to have what we want. The infantile, there's a whole discourse about this. We don't get what we want, that we have a position, that I should have that. And you don't get it, and you're now thwarted, and you're at the effect of it. How fast can you get off it, that position about that you thought it should have been the way that you wanted? How fast can you get off that position and create an empowering context? An empowering context starts with I'm cause in the matter as a declaration. You look like you're getting this because when you look blank, I think that's sort of a good sign. It's like you're present. Yeah? You may not understand it. I don't care if you understand it. That you just get it. And I'm getting that you're getting it. Yeah? Miss Bond,
I got it.
you're getting it? Why are you looking over there when you say that? And now you're looking up.
And I should look straight here.
Did you do the out here experiments? What? No? Okay. Will you? Promise? Okay. Can you see what it looks like when somebody's not out here?
What?
Can you see what it looks like when somebody's not out here? When you got this distinction, you started being out here. So what else about this? Anything else?
It actually reminds me a kind of positive thinking.
Is what?
It reminds me a kind of positive thinking.
It reminds you of positive thinking.
Maybe not always positive thinking, but
No,
you have to be empowered. If you have a complicated situation, you should not be a victim. Because in manner, it's a stand which doesn't allows you to be a victim. You have to be strong, power, and control the situation. And I understand it right.
We have precious little control over the circumstances. Have you noticed that? We have precious little control over the circumstances.
Are we?
Don't you? I mean, do you?
No.
No, we don't. However, we do have dominion over what comes out of our mouth. And part of what comes out of our mouth is, you know, our thinking. You know, we think, oh, this shouldn't be, this is wrong. Oh man, we have problems now. Oh my God, this is not working out like I thought it should. I should have had this and I didn't. Right? You're now at the effect. Probably you stop being out here also, because you're now saying all that to yourself. And maybe you can get agreement with one of your friends or something that this really isn't the way that it's supposed to be. Right? And there's no power there.
And where is this power?
Where is the power?
Yeah.
In standing for your cause and merit. You didn't cause it, not blame, not shame, not guilt, none of those things. You're just cause and merit. Just cause and merit. It's a declaration. I am cause and merit. I didn't cause the matter, I'm just in cause in the matter. I have something to say about it. I can't create the circumstances exactly like I want. But I have something to say about it.
But if we can't control anything, how can we control the circumstances? You just said the other.
All right. I'll share it with you. The process that I went through when I said, I'm going to bring this technology to Ukraine, right?
Okay.
And I did not know what there was any leadership course. I didn't know who I would be talking to. I didn't know anything. I took that on as something bigger than myself. I'm now causing the matter, and I don't know how it's going to unfold. And I share it with my Russian teacher that we Skype. And then she shares it with a friend, and the friend makes 5 appointments. Dimitros 1 appointment. Dimitros says, yeah, I want it here. Then we set up some, there's lots of breakdowns along the way. So email isn't reliable, Dimitro didn't get it, he didn't, you know, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, you know, this is it, right? So there's lots of chances for me to go at the effect and want to give up or quit. All along the way. All along the way. And I had to just give up my assessment of it and keep getting in communication, taking the next step. I don't know how elective courses work here. I don't know what I'm walking into when I walk into this university. I have no idea. In elective courses in the U.S., the courses are scheduled and the people that show up are in the course. You don't get to vote. You sign up, when you sign up for the course, that's the course you're in. That's it. There's no bunch of people coming and we try to work out the best schedule for the most people and then whoever comes, and then the other ones, if they don't feel like coming, they don't come. It's like a, I don't know, it's a mess. For me, it's a mess. It's hell, to tell you the truth. In my world of judgments and evaluations and expectations. But given I'm cause in the matter, I have to get off it, set it aside, and create an empowering context. Okay, so this is how it turned out. What am I going to do about it? I have a commitment to bring this work to Ukraine. And this is what I got. I got 4 students. I got 12. I have 20. Now I have 3. Then I have none. But, you know, and so all that goes on, right? There's just this, you know, it's like life. It just goes like this, right? And I have precious little control of it. And then some teacher that I talked to, an English Teachers Resource Center, who is down there, says, well, when are you coming back to Ukraine? Well, I'm here. Well, really, tell me about this leadership course. So she gets on and she sees every class that we do. Every class. She's a professor in some economics place over there, a person of influence. She's an administrator, and she watches what we do, and then she makes notes, and she calls me and she says, can you meet after your Russian lesson? At 12 o'clock we meet at Zolty Barote? Zolty Barote, the Golden Gates, right? And we have coffee, and she says, well, how about this, and what about, she has this session like we have, right? And and I always thought integrity was the key thing for Ukraine, and we need to teach this, and how do you make people have integrity? And I was like, well, you can't. And then, so I talked to her about, people's actions are correlated to how the world occurs for them, which is the next section we're going to get into. And her eyes get really, oh my gosh, right? She's probably going to end up teaching the course. So that fulfills my commitment, right? But it didn't look like I thought it should. What's happening is this. Oh my God, this house is ever going to, right? And then this stuff kind of shows up. Somebody from the MBA school calls and said, yeah, I think we'd like to have this. And then somebody from Moscow National University called and said, yeah, well, can you get a visa and come over here and just lead this on 3 weekends in a row? And then somebody from Kazakhstan reads about something and they're like, oh yeah, we want this. This is, it's taught at Harvard, the Air Force Academy. This would be a feather in our hat if we had this over here. Can you come? Right? But if I would have stopped at any point, none of those magical things would happen. That's real power. That's power. That's the only thing you have power over.
Oh yeah, I think I got it sense.
You got it now?
Yes. It doesn't matter means don't give up and just feel confident in what you do.
Hold on. I tell you, I give up 3 times a week. At least I give up 3 times a week, and I'm totally not confident. It looks like I am because I'm committed to something bigger, but it costs me the way I wound up being, which is not confident.
Okay, maybe not being confident, but anyway, feel the stream, just want to proceed the action. Maybe this is
What now?
just a desire to proceed what you do. Maybe it
No, I promise you I don't want to do this. A lot of the times. I don't. But when somebody says, you know what, I sleep better now having been in this leadership course. And when she says, my friends ask me if I've been to my leadership course because I'm so up and I'm so full of life. Those moments makes it all worth it. But if you ask me, when I'm in any time of the day, I may say, hey man, this is crazy. I don't even know why I decided to do this. But that's just the way I wound up being, is whatever that is. It has no power. What has power is I said I would. That's where I have power. It's because I said so. And all the other small human being stuff happens for me. Yeah. I don't feel like it. I don't want to.
But are you happy with doing this?
I'm through. I'm through. Yeah. And from time to time, there's moments when I think this was a really bad idea. When only 4 of you show up. Or when only I get to work with 12 people, and I'm used to working with 20, 30, 40, or lecturing to 300 people. Right? And it's like, oh my God, it's a huge opportunity to go south, right? Oh my God. Well, it's not worth it, right? Or whatever conversation you have. But that's not going to get the job done, is it? Got to be willing to do what's required to get what needs to get done. That's all. I'm used by that, not by these times that I don't want to and don't feel like it. And they come over just like in emotions, you get sad and you get blue and you get tired and you get this and you get that. And all that goes on, right? And it's like, so what are you going to give your life to? Huh? Anything about that? Anything else about that?
You made us feel miserable now.
You feel miserable?
Kind of.
Kind of.
Confused.
Well, that's a possible way of being, but it's got nothing to do with what you organize your life around. Really, you could celebrate it if you want. It's good news in a way, because human beings, we live our lives at the effect of everything all the time. Because that's the discourse that we got born into, yeah? Give your life to something, and my life is not given by that, oh, they didn't show up, all of that stuff. It's just not given by that. I get to play, listen to this, the way I wound up being, I would just be playing around in my little contracting company, worried about, I don't know, if I'm going to be able to buy my next Porsche or something like that, and this one of the miles are ticking off, and I would be concerned about that. Now I'm concerned about empowering a country, and I get to play with people like Dimitro and other professors that are watching this video, and they're asking me, well, how about this, and what about that? And I get to empower people who are in places that can make a huge difference, such as yourself. That is a life worth living. And it touches and moves me deeply when I allow myself to get present to it, which I am, right now. But you have a choice. And I'm just an ordinary guy. I'm just an ordinary guy. Just an ordinary guy. And I got this manual. You're an ordinary girl and you got the manual, right? That's all it takes.
Today is a very interesting lesson. I could say
Yeah.
it made me think a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about them today, tomorrow, maybe all weekends.
Yes, and that will be your homework. You guys are so good. You're always ahead of the curve. Whenever we come to this point, you know the course is getting done when the next part comes out of somebody's mouth. So you guys are getting it, or you wouldn't be able to say that.